All right, that is extremely very instructive. I mean, we have flogged this issue on the show that you will be going through these two processes. First is from 8 a.m. in the morning, we have the accreditation process, and that will require you to get there, follow the queue, wait for the instructions of the ad hoc staff of INEC, and particularly the presiding officer for your particular ward. It will instruct you on exactly how to go about this, and we will replay that in the course of the program so that we can get used to all of this process before Saturday.
And no African time also.
Yeah, I mean,
no showing up late.
There's that a lot has to do with the timing of INEC anyway.
Yes.
I mean, one thing is for voters and the electorate to suffer apathy. Maybe they just don't want to come out on time. Another very key thing is for INEC to actually get there in good time. All right, let's move on here. I need to let you answer this question. Nigerians really want a change. When I say they want a change, I'm not talking about they want a particular party who has been, using the change tag, for campaign and their rallies and all of that. I'm talking about the real change. I'm talking about a true change. I'm talking about a newness that the Nigerian people really want to experience. Now, based on that, what are the issues that you think the electorate are contending with now that we approach the polls this weekend? What are some of the things that you think the electorate are contending with?
There are several. Unemployment is a very serious issue in Nigeria, and the CBN has published 80% youth unemployment. The estimates vary, but I've seen a CBN release saying 80% youth unemployment. That's very dangerous because those are the most energetic people in a society. So you need to divert that energy to something productive for the development of society. That's number one. The level of poverty is crushing. And a lot of people don't see it because they see the tiny minority that are super rich. Those who use private jets. They see that very tiny minority. But in 200 million people, 300 people with private jets represent zero of the population. Yeah. That's what they represent.
Almost insignificant.
Almost insignificant, but that's what people look at. So the level of poverty is crushing. The UN estimates show nearly 70% living below the poverty line, the international poverty line. So the poverty is crushing, and these are associated with crime. So insecurity. Yesterday, one of my very good friends and supporters was driving with his friend, and he just wound down here in Lagos. And he was using his smartphone. What's wound down? Somebody just picked it in broad daylight.
And nothing was done.
And ran backwards. I mean, what can you do in that circumstance? It's very unexpected. But that's how a lot of these people, because they do nothing else. And when you overcomplicate it with the issue of the value system, where good is evil and evil is good, which some of our people have come to accept. That if I work in Cool TV and I notice there's nobody and I steal the camera and sell it and I become rich, then it means I'm very smart. Instead of being a thief, I'm being condemned as a thief. Then I'm hailed, Baba Onovo, you are the sharp man. So the value system, very critical. So we have those contributing. Power is a very big problem because you find out that all these problems are connected.
How about job security?
Job security, if you have employment, will not be a big problem because people walk away from one and go to another. If you have employment, people walk away from one and go to another. I'm saying it won't be such a big problem. It is the unemployment that you're seeing in the job security. Because in a place like the US, they talk about attrition rate. In other words, the rate at which people jump
out of jobs.
Yes, right? Because there is another one. Because, if there's not another one, you won't jump out. That's what they call attrition rate in the US. At what rate do people leave an organization? What is wrong with that organization? Why is the attrition rate so high that everybody wants to leave them? So it's because there are other jobs. If there are no other jobs, you will stick and hold tenaciously to
But another issue now.
No, you were going to talk about power.
Yes,
before.
Power is a very big problem because you find out that you need power for not only for economic purposes, you need it for social purposes. You need it for everything. And it is also critical to economic development because Every industry needs power. Otherwise, it's using manual labor, which is not very productive. And go and check all over the world. Studies have been done. The leading authority is this professor in Ife, I've forgotten his name, Professor Francis somebody, who has done 24 years of research. He's a Nigerian. Taking every developed country, taking the history of their development. He's the leading developmental scientist in this country. Wow. Superstar, he's not noisy.
All right. Just hold on that. Let's take this call. Good morning, Roland.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, good morning.
How are you?
Very
Fine,
well, thank you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Onovo.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you doing, Mazi?
I thank God, though.
I just really want to appreciate you guys, and you in particular, Mr. Onovo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I watched the debate on Sunday, and you were outstanding. Some of the ideas that you projected during the debate are actually credible and implementable ideas. And one of the prayers I pray is that we'll have people like you, technocrats, that have experience on the job, getting into the mainstream of the politics, and actually having the opportunity to put this country on a working path. God bless you and good morning.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much, Roland.
Thank you so much.
Roland is thinking exactly like us. That's how we're thinking.
You know, my concern actually is that, the Nigerian environment, especially when we talk about this polity called Nigeria, the education when it comes to the selection process of leaders, when you are not rich, you are not recognized. When you don't have a godfather, you are not recognized. If you are not, if you don't have a strong affiliation with a popular party, you are not given any chance to operate. How have you been able to deal with this between 2011 and now?
Well, it's very simple. We must have the resilience of fortitude and perseverance. Because, like the Australian Prime Minister said, he said, this Australia was built on the sweat and steel of so many of our past compatriots. So it's the same thing. We must have the perseverance, we must have the fortitude, we must have the spiritual integrity to persevere doing what is right. That's the only way we're going to get the right results. We cannot say because what is wrong is accepted, we will also do what is wrong, because that overcomplicates it, which is why we're
if you can't beat them, you join them.
Exactly, thank you. That explains it. That philosophy of if you can't beat them, join them, it's ruinous. Because you're now joining them to even overcomplicate the ruinous situation. So we must persevere in doing what is right. We must join political parties, because that's what the law says.
Yeah.
The law says that to contest for any position in Nigeria, including councillor, you must be sponsored by a political party. I see that as being very good. Some people may not like it. I like it. Okay. Secondly, in Nigeria, our political party has opened the political space. If you remember how Gadifayemi went to court and said INEC must register parties that meet, and the Supreme Court granted the judgment. So that's the perseverance. So we made that progress. Today, INEC has recognized and listed 28 political parties. 14 of them that presented presidential candidates, 2 have withdrawn. Some others are showing signs of withdrawal. So,
all right, Chief, let's quickly take this call before you continue. Ilopota, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Morning, sir.
I'm fine, sir. Good morning, Chief Onovo.
good morning, my brother.
This is Ilopota. By the way, not Bota. Ilopota is from Oka.
Are you related to the late pastor?
Yes, Bishop Anna Ilopota is my uncle.
Oh, great.
He was my uncle.
He was a great man.
Great.
Pardon?
Please go ahead and make your comments.
Okay. Engineer Onovo, I have been your fan since the advent of this democratic dispensation.
His voice is correct.
And what is happening in Nigeria, you seem to have the confidence that we're without. But it is quite unfortunate that this is where we celebrate video policy. You know? And that is why people like you are being ignored. But I wouldn't know, sir. I wouldn't know, sir, if you can come closer, because going by a man of strong character like yours, I know that maybe they will be offering you one appointment or the other. If you cannot effect any change from a distance. My humble suggestion, sir, is that if you can accept one of these appointments, just go close to the corridors. I see somebody like you making an impact. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lopta Ife. Now, will you be considering, I mean, this is an objective, all right, we'll take this call, but think about this. Will you be considering taking up an appointment? I see this happen, except, I mean, we don't have a government who is sensitive to the needs of the people. If I haven't been in the same batch during the debate with the current president of this country, and I realized a couple of times he was making references to some certain things, and even on the national television he was calling you, like my colleague said, It simply means he respected some of the things you said. Will you be considering, if you are being given an appointment, come rain, come shine, per adventure, the incumbent, president eventually wins the election come, March the 28th, 2015. Let's take this call. Usman, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. It's been a while. How are you?
My brother and my sister, it isn't easy in Lagos.
Lagos now, we own.
My brother, I haven't get my previous, so I hope these people will not deny me change you.
I'm really sorry about that, Usman, seriously.
Right.
You fought, you did all that you could as a good citizen of this country.
I'm telling you, but I was being told this morning by the man I always call that I should keep on shaking that on the eve of election, the PVC will still be sharing.
Really?
The day before the election, that I will still be giving if the PVC arrives.
Arrives, okay. All right, great.
Yeah.
Great to know that, Usman. Talk to Mr. Onovo. Talk to Chief Engineer Onovo.
Hello, Mr. Onovo.
Yes, my brother.
Oh, we lost that
Sorry,
call. Now, I asked you a question before we took that call.
You can't give a general answer to that. The first thing is that we're not here to get appointments. We're here to win the election. We're here to do what is right for our country. We're prepared. We have published a vision. We have the resilience, which we have demonstrated. We're the oldest party in the country. And we have demonstrated that resilience without any public support in terms of funding. We have lasted 20 years, 1994 to 2014. This is our 21st year as a political party. I think we have the excellent credentials if we use universal criteria for assessments. That's number one. Number two, in 2007, I was approached for ministerial nomination. I turned it down because, you don't build on a false foundation. And the idea that you can make changes from outside is false, historically false. We stopped third term from outside. No, that's what your caller said.
I seem to disagree with the opposition.
Okay, let me justify my own position.
All right.
We stopped third term from outside, not from inside.
Were you part of the persons who stopped it?
Oh, clearly.
Oh, yes.
Oh, clearly.
I know the involvement of the National Conscience Party.
We stopped third term from outside. That's number one. We took Ete out from outside. All the insiders supported Speaker Ete. The ruling party supported Speaker Ete. The incumbent supported Speaker Ete, but we got Ete out. We stopped the military from outside. We didn't join the military to stop them. We said, military, you have to go. You have nobody's mandate. This is outdated. Bye-bye. You're ruling us by force. And the military said, well, it is true. We are ruling them by force. Maybe we shouldn't continue ruling them by force. So moral and intellectual power that a lot of Nigerians disregard is strong. And that's what we use. We use moral and intellectual power. And that's what we fight with. You will not see, there is no NCP person that will carry a stick to a rally. He will be dismissed from the party. You will not dare it. We have a disciplined party.
How have you been able to do that?
It's very simple. When you are admitted, you know the standards. When you participate, you know the standards. We insist on our standard. And if you cross the line, we tell you we don't do this here. You have to leave.
This is, I
It's
mean,
that simple.
your conscience is not involved in this.
It's that simple. No, you know our standard. We don't conceal it. We let everybody know we do not do violence. NCP does not do violence. None of my supporters is going to be seen with any arms. I will disown that supporter. But look at in Lagos here. They are wearing their party t-shirts, carrying rifles. Well, what is that? Brigandage. Lawlessness.
And
that
brandishing,
yes,
machetes
rifles.
and all of that, yeah.
Destroying public
And they want to come to power to rule with lawlessness. That is lawlessness. So the Nigerian people need to take a position. We cannot like lawlessness and dislike lawlessness.
Yeah.
We have to choose. Do we want lawlessness or do we want rule
Or
of
you
law?
want to move this country forward and you choose wrong leaders.
That's my point. So we need to be very clear about what we want and stop
All
blaming
right.
God.
We are proceeding on a short break now, and then when we come back, this is very interesting. Nigerians, what do you want? Do you want a good leader and move this country forward? Or you want to go out on the 28th of March, Saturday, that's in 2 days' time. I mean, let's just calculate it that way, or maximum 3 days. Or you go out there and vote your conscience. The right change, the positive change, whatever you think this country deserves. We'll go on this short break. When we come back, we'll take this conversation to another level. We'll be right back. All right, seriously, we've been having fun in the studio. We have Chief Engineer Matthew Onovo with us in the studio, and we've been chatting. It's just been chatting. And you would see that a lot of questions, bothering around so many issues in Nigeria. I mean, this is just a show with a difference and all of that. And so we'll be taking it cool. Now, I have him still in the studio, and this will be running through the last leg of the show. And this is my question, Engineer Onovo. March the 28th is just 3 days away, and Nigerians will be approaching the polls to vote the candidate of their choice. Most importantly, with their conscience. Unfortunately, we use terms on this, but I mean, you belong to the National Conscience Party. And so I believe that they are going there with their conscience to be able to elect the right leader into position this time around. What do you see as the outcome of the polls on Saturday?
Well, what I see as the outcome is whatever the majority of Nigerians decide. Unfortunately, we must say this. INEC has not done its job excellently. We must say that. There are two ingredients of democracy: the rule of law and the integrity of the ballot. And one comes before the other. The rule of law comes before the integrity of the ballot. You know why? It is the rule of law that defines the integrity of the ballot. For example, in Nigeria, universal adult suffrage is for 18 and above. If a 14-year-old goes to vote, that's against the law. That's against the law. That is not supposed to count. Now, we know that so many underage voters have been registered. We have the evidence in video reports, in news coverages. We have the videos in evidence in photographs.
How do you verify the age of a Nigerian?
It's very possible if we had a national data bank.
Yeah, but we don't have that.
Well, we don't.
We all know
so
that
these are some of the parents, I believe.
Yes, but there are some that maybe a 17-year-old can pass.
But not like a 13, a 14-year-old.
Yes, not an 11-year-old. We have seen children. We have seen children, babies. We have seen them in queues trying to vote. So until we get to that point where INEC is sufficiently courageous, the leadership of INEC, to follow the laws, you cannot have a free and fair election. Because, for example, the Electoral Act, Section 91, says you can't spend over R1 billion in a presidential campaign. Now, If you have any idea
Don't
of the cost,
Don't go there.
you find out that the so-called parties in power are spending in trillions. It's very clear. And you find out that about 4 state governments have been run down because of elections. And they can't pay salaries. And everybody knows. And the media is keeping quiet. And the media is the fourth arm of government. And the Constitution says the media is the watchdog. And the media has the moral and intellectual leadership for governance. Now, some states cannot pay salaries because they are using state funds to fund elections.
With the hope of getting it back.
Anyway,
And the kind of money we are seeing spent in elections is phenomenal.
I
It's phenomenal.
can only imagine.
phenomenal.
Chief Engineer Martin Onovo, we've been speaking with him in the studio. I mean, it's very surprising. Announcing to you that, my producer is saying that our time is up. And I'm surprised. If we've been
Even
here
though we
and we'll be
have a lot
talking,
of questions
I'm telling you. But truth is, what will you tell Nigerians? Just say a few words to Nigerians.
For what we have seen, we can't reverse time. We can still arrest this situation. Let us go out on Saturday. Let us vote for what our conscience. Because this is not a joke. You're voting for your own interest. A bad government cannot pay you, even if it's your brother. Because yes, he may give you a contract because it's your brother. Then you buy a nice car and you attract the robbers. High crime, don't forget. So the robbers may shoot your leg, you have become disabled. So let us understand and go out prayerfully and try to do what is right for the development of our country in our personal interest and the interest of our country. Wow. Because your personal interest cannot grow if your country does not grow. It's not possible. Except you're not in Nigeria. If you're here, then whatever fate that befalls Nigeria befalls you. So let us know that you're not doing anybody a favor. You're not doing Dr. Jonathan a favor. You're not doing Martin Onovo a favor. Go there, vote for the development of your own country.
So can you quickly tell our viewers the symbol of your political party?
Two
so
eyes.
They will know.
Shine your eyes. 2 eyes.
Okay, so that's the
NCP,
symbol
2
of
eyes.
the NCP.
Shine your eyes.
All right, very interesting. Speaking with Chief Engineer Martin Onovo, loaded man. He's done his research. He's been around the corner. He's been a child, in this country all the while. He's paid his dues. And I tell you, if you go out there on Saturday without having to use this as a political platform for campaign, I tell you very wholeheartedly, Nigerians, we need to vote with our conscience. So when we go out there, let's open our eyes, let's see what is happening, and let our conscience be deployed as we vote come Saturday, March the 28th, 2015. Thank you so very much, Engineer Martin Onovo, for having you. I realized, and I appreciate your level of humility. The type that you display that makes, you just keep amazing me, seriously. But, we want to say a very big thank you to everybody who have been a part of our show today. Tomorrow is another day, and it promises to be a very interesting episode also. You don't want to miss it. Join us as we just talk about our nation and move this nation to the next level. Thank you, and have a beautiful day.
Say no to violence, and God bless you.
Thank you very much.